All right. Good evening, everybody. Today is March 31st, 2022, and we're here with Chris. Chris, what's on your mind?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
We got a lot of stuff.
Before we get started, I got to put in a little plug here. Hey, you guys, join our mailing list at youhavetheright.com if you want to receive updates and notifications of this call and other things that are going on. Go to youhavetheright.com. You'll see the mailing list on the left-hand side. Sign up for it. And if you'd like to, I'm putting up these calls edited by subject to help you save your time. So you don't have to listen to hours and hours and hours of stuff. You can just go right to the thing that you have a question about, and that's what I have that up for there to help you save time learning this process. So you can help me help you by joining youhavetheright.com monthly membership. And if not, that's fine too. These calls will still be free, so anybody can listen to them. All right, Chris, what were you going to say?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happened this week. I'm going to start with a little somber. A lot of y'all have seen the Lavely Brown video. He called me this morning, and because he calls me a lot. I like to put money on his books and put money in on his phone. So
Lavely Brown is the guy that did the first conditional acceptance with the vehicle crash?
No,
okay.
Lavely Brown is my friend that I met while I was in prison.
Okay.
He was convicted in the 80s of 5 murders. Over the 30 years of him being locked up, he was he beat 4 of those. He had 4 of those murder convictions overturned. The one that didn't get overturned, he was in Canada, and the CSI guy that investigated lied about the time of death and the day of death. First he said it was at a certain time, and then he said it was later. So this one here is stuck, and he's still beating it. He's 30 years into it, and he's still fighting this. But he called me this morning and told me that his father had passed away.
Oh.
And his father was a retired Air Force officer. He was a air traffic controller, and then he went in to the civil service and was an air traffic controller after he did his time. And Lavely had grew up. He was from the Oak Ridge area, and he grew up, but he grew up in Washington, D.C. And I learned a lot about him, and you will do this when you spend time in prison and you make friends. You'll learn a lot about him. Lavely has been locked up since the 80s, and he's about my age. He never had any children, and so all he's got is his 80-year-old aunts, and he's got an aunt that's left, and his father was from a really big family, like 17 boys and 5 girls or something like that. And there's only one left, and so he has nothing. You know, when he called me, it's like, man, I got nothing. See, I got nothing but God left. And I told him, I said, well, that's all you need. And in the end, that's all you're going to have. That's all you're going to have left, in my opinion. And he believes that too. But he's taking it real hard. And if y'all knew the real story of what has happened to him and his birthright, his inheritance, you wouldn't believe that a person that claimed to be a Christian could do something that vile. And that's what he's dealing with. He gave me his power of attorney. I've got his power of attorney to sign anything on his behalf. Yeah, that's how close friends we are. And but he's having a really hard time of it. And he gave me his aunt's phone number, and I spoke with her, and I told her if there's anything I can do, let me know. If there's anything that needs to be signed by him, let me know. I got a Tahoe. He's worried about all his childhood memories getting thrown out by his evil sister. So I told her I'd come get whatever it is he had, whatever it is he wanted me, and I'd store it till he gets out. There was a time that he was thinking, I'm getting out in October, and I'm going home and spending what little time I got left with my dad. And his dad was on dialysis up in his 80s, and he got staph infection, I guess in the ports where they do the dialysis at, and I guess it killed him. But so I told him, hey man, don't worry, I got you. When it comes time for you to get out in the fall, I got you. Don't worry about what you're going to do when you get out. We've already made plans. We're using the 1099-A to buy 2 houses that another inmate's parents own. They're trying to get rid of them because of the taxes. So we're going to buy those 2 houses. We're also looking at 88 acres here in East Tennessee. It's an old abandoned dairy farm. And what we're going to do is, and I'm going to share this with y'all too while you're listening. A lot of people have asked me about, what do we do with the 1099-A if it takes too long to get the money for the real estate and the people pull out of the contract? Well, you can take that money and put it in escrow. When you do that 1099-A, that money comes in, and in the description it's going to say the house that you had contracted to buy. Well, if they sell that house out from under you after the contract has elapsed, you put that in escrow. And then when you find a place, what you do is a correction on the 1099-A with the description and send it in, and you're good to go. So you could actually find the property that you want to buy and put the money into escrow. And if it's a $150,000 home, well, you can do where it says fair market value, you could put $150,000. But then you can, in the 1099-A, you could put $210,000. So that's $60,000 over the fair market value. Well, you can use 80% of that $60,000 to remodel, repair, put a swimming pool in. It's whatever you want to do. And then keep the other 20%. That's totally legit. So what we were talking about doing is buying these houses for $150,000. He's going to buy one, and I'm going to buy one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the money. We'll put the money in an escrow account, and then what we'll do is we'll take the money over the purchase price and remodel the homes. And then we'll keep the 20%. Then when these people get released from prison, we're going to 1099-A the houses to them. Then we'll turn around and take the money that we made from those houses, not using the 1099-A anymore, and just straight use the money to do another purchase. That way you're not going back doing 1099-As over and over again. And what we'll do is we'll just keep rolling that money over. We'll sell that house that we got $200,000 in to the parolee for $250,000. And we'll find a $200,000 home, put $30,000 in it, pocket $20,000. You can do that. You can do that way. I also got a message from a straight-up cowgirl. Her name is Sarah. She sent me pictures of a brand new Honda Accord. It was pearl white, beautiful looking car.
Saw that.
And yeah, she said, believe me, this process works. If you work it, you gotta work it. Here's your proof. And this is happening every day now. Okay? Every day now, somebody's talking about how the 1099As work for their credit card. Somebody's talking about how the 1099A is bought them a car. I was on a Zoom meeting with the CH study group, and there was a sweet old Dutch gal on there, and she explained that what she'd used her 1099As for, and she went to a website. I don't have it yet, but as soon as I find that, Tad, as soon as she sends me that email back with that address or that web address,
okay,
I'll give it to you. I'll send it to you, and you can put it on your website.
Okay.
That way, all y'all that are out here using these 1099As and sending me messages going, how do we find out if they got our 1099A? How do we find out if they paid the trustee from the 1099A? This website, folks, will tell you.
Oh, wow.
It'll tell you. It's the Treasury will tell you. You go on the website. The way she explained it to me is you go on the website, and you put it's like a 1099A, a digital looking 1099A. And what you're going to do is put all the information on that form that they have on their website that you had on the 1099 or on the 1099A that you sent in. The TIN numbers and the account numbers and the amount, stuff like that. You'll put all that in, and what that'll do is it'll match with the one that you sent in, and it'll say received, and that'll let you know that the Treasury has got it. This gal looked into hers, and she had about a half a dozen that she rattled off that they got. One of them was for a little over $79,000 in taxes that was owed to the IRS. And it's the IRS going, we received your 1099A for $79,000. Well, what does received mean? That means they got it. If they got it, then it belongs to them, right? She did another one, I think she said, for $11,000 for California taxes. And she did one, I believe, for a Bank of America. She said every one of them so far has been received by the Treasury or the IRS.
That is incredible. That's what we need to know. Say, hey, this was received. You received my payment. So what's going on?
Absolutely. And that's the same thing with the remittance coupon process, folks. I'll just shoot on that a little briefly here. When you do the coupon letter to the CEO, we do it to the corporation in care of the CEO. Folks are asking, well, why don't you send it to the financial officer instead? Well, because the financial officer doesn't carry as much weight as the CEO does. And if you have to do a conditional acceptance, you're better off having the CEO. I mean, if you're going to have to do a conditional acceptance, do you want to do it on the president? Do you want to do it on Biden, or do you want to do it on one of his cabinet members? No, you want to do it on the big chief. So you'll send it to the CEO, and in that letter, you're going to talk about I'm sending you this letter via the postal rule. I've noticed over the years that you've been sending me these coupons attached to detach from your statement that you send me. You send me a statement and with a coupon that's detachable, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put in the definitions of statement, instrument, bond, coupon. Put those all into the letter, and explain to them, you've been doing this. You're redeeming this coupon, and you're also cashing the check I've been sending in. That's double dipping, and that is a crime. That's trust fraud because you've got my trust number. And I'm willing to overlook that to make this one-time settlement to clear this debt. Well, you're also going to put in that letter that because you've sent the letter to them via the postal rule, well, then you can just say in the letter, because I've sent this to you, you agree that you have accepted this payment. If you put that in the language of that remittance coupon letter, notarize it, take it down and have it notarized, and keep copies. Anything you guys send out, make copies of. Keep it. Put it in a file. A lot of my files I keep outside in, I got a storage building that I keep all of my stuff in. You know how it is when you're a guy and you get married to a gal and you know, you've got all your old stuff, guy stuff that you like to leave out. You go to take it out and she goes, "Whoa, wait a minute, you're not putting that thing out." So I've got a couple tubs of, stuff that if I had a bachelor pad, I'd have it all out. Like my dead spider, I got a dead spider, tarantula. I had him for about 5 years. His name was Hannibal. He was a big, hairy spider. "Oh, you're not having that thing in here." I got it in a Tupperware. It's dead. I got it in a Tupperware tub. It's not like it's going to get out and get you, but you're not having that in the house. So I put all my important letters, I seal them up, and then I put them in this building. There's no power in this building. There's no chance of it catching on fire and me losing those important documents. All of my important documents, most of them are in ammo cans out in the building in sealed containers. And I would suggest doing that. Copy everything that you have. But sending this letter, if you think about that, you got this in the letter. "Hey, CEO, you've accepted this letter via the postal rule, which means we have a common law contract, and you now agree that you have accepted this payment." When you do that, they can't turn around on you and say, "Well, we can't accept this," because they've already contractually agreed to do it. That's what you want to put in that remittance letter or coupon letter, however you want to do that. That's the best way to do that, folks. So, let me see what else. What else has happened? I'm getting ready for my trip to Nashville. I'm leaving Tuesday morning, and me and my friend Michael are going out there and staying. I called the jail, the Nashville jail that I was at, to try and get a hold of Mr. Allen. He was in the GED program that I spoke about in the video. His wife had Alzheimer's while I was there, and since then she had passed. Oh, wow. And then he retired. And she was young, too. Mr. Allen wasn't much older than me, and his wife was in her maybe early 60s. And then so a year after I left Davidson County Jail, he retired. I tried to get a hold of him, but they're not going to tell me at the jail how to do that, because I really wanted to talk to him. But I talked to one of the other instructors. His name was Zazowski. Yeah. And they transferred me down there, and I said, "Hey, Zaz," I said, "this is Chris Hauser. Do you remember me?" "Oh, yeah. How you doing, man?" We talk like old friends. I talked to him for about a half hour maybe. And, he told me he let me in on all this stuff. He said, "I haven't even heard from him in a couple of 2 3 years now." I said, "Well, that's too bad. I'd like to get a hold of him." But I'm going to go live like I do on Tuesday night. but I'm going to do it from Nashville. And then I'm probably going to go live again Wednesday morning on the 6th. Pretty sure it's the 6th. The morning of the 6th, I'm going to briefly go live from the steps of the Supreme Court.
Oh, wow.
In Nashville. And and I may try and get the attorney. I don't know if I'll be able to or not, because she's kind of she knows about all this. She knows about how popular the channel has gotten, and there's 3,400. There'll probably be 3,500 views on the video she was in with the Court of Criminal Appeals. The Tennessee Supreme Court, their most popular video is only about 619 views. Yeah. So this is going to blow up, and it's going to be, the video is going to, or the Supreme Court case on the 6th is going to be live. They're going to live stream it. So if you want to watch it on the 6th, they said it'd probably be, the lawyer said it'd probably be about 11 o'clock. And it's only going to be about an hour long. There's 2 other cases going to be heard before ours. We're going to be the last one. That's the way they do sovereign.
Yeah.
Every time I've ever gone in, even when I started kicking this around in child support, I was always the last one heard. Always. I was the only one that ever went in there, because I've sat through them, Tad. I've sat through child support hearings all day long, every time I ever went. And I was always the last one, because I got up there and I talked to these administrators even before I knew about, all this, what it's really about. I would get up there and I'd go, well, no, wait a minute. No, this ain't right. And I bucked the system from get-go. And I argued. I would get up there and argue, not even knowing that these child support referees, they're not even judges. They're straight-up administrators. They get paid by the Department of Human Services. So you're not being judged in child support court, folks. And I would get up there and I'd argue it with them. Strong arguments. So they learned me real quick. Put him on the end of the docket, which was totally stupid, because I would sit there and listen to 20 cases before mine came up. And not only that, I would go outside from time to time, because I was a cigarette smoker, and I'd smoke cigarettes and talk to the people from both sides. Mothers that were mad because their deadbeat dads wasn't paying, and fathers that were in there going, man, I can barely get by. They're killing me with this. And here all it is a money racket. They're the only ones making money.
Right.
I mean, the government's the only one making the money off that child support crap. Why? Because the men are getting fleeced like crazy, and I'm just saying, generally speaking, the non-custodial parent is being raked over the coals. And the thing about it is the custodial parents are still getting all the benefits. I would drive a semi-truck, pay $350 a week in child support, right? That's $1,400 a month back in the 90s.
Wow.
My ex make that much money, working a public job. She wouldn't even made $300 a week working a public job. And then they didn't count that as income. They didn't count child support as income. So she never had to pay taxes on the money. When she went down to the food stamp office, it was like zero. So they were getting crazy amounts of, back then anyway, they were getting crazy amounts of food stamps and TennCare. She got TennCare, and the kids, I had to pay insurance for the kids. That's the way that scam works, and nobody but the state's getting rich off of it. So you learn that stuff. But this Supreme Court case is going to go live, and the most popular video that it's on TN Courts in the YouTube. If you go to TN Courts on YouTube, you'll pull it right up. If you go there now, it'll show you that the case is coming up. For all the naysayers out there, this is BS. This is all a setup. He ain't done no time, and this ain't going. Yeah, it is. If this is a setup, it's pretty elaborate. People go to jail for years. One dies. Yeah, we killed the guy just so we could prove this is phony. But that's where that's at. Y'all will be able to watch it on Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it's 6 is on Wednesday. Yeah, it is. And I'll also, as soon as I can, I'll put it in my playlist on YouTube. Let's see. I did a Monday night. I did a Zoom meeting. A guy that was on there was talking about the U.S. DOT tags, and he was like a guest speaker that came on, and he also did the bonds. So we talked about his process. He had a United States ID. I guess it was kind of like a U.S. national kind of thing. His own ID card that he made up. And it seemed to be pretty effective. There was some testimony about people that were using it and how effective it was. And sold his car. He created a EIN and sold his car to the EIN. Even the title said that it belonged to this trust. And it was very interesting. I learned quite a bit about what it is that they're doing. Then we talked about the bond, the $100 million bond. A lot of folks out here have asked me, so how do I do the $100 million bond thing, Chris? Well, I can't tell you because I haven't done it. There's probably half a dozen different processes you can go to get to the same conclusion. All these gurus are selling this packet, and here's how you do it.
I think it'll be easier just to do your claim on somebody. It's not hard to find somebody to screw you over, and just do the claim and send it into the Treasury. I think that'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, it is. And the big thing that everybody seems to ask, I got a box of cookies. I came home and there was a big box of cookies from some folks in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and he sent a letter and he sent me his document. He sent me a document, certificate of assumed name, notice of transfer of reserved name. Okay, his little document that he sent me. And he asked me in the letter, hey, can I do the 1099A thing because I've done this document? Look at it for me, please. And I sent him a message back saying, look, folks, it doesn't matter if you're a United States citizen or a resident of Tennessee or a U.S. national or a state national or a heebie-jeebie-doo. It doesn't matter. You can do the 1099A process no matter what people have labeled you as or you yourself have labeled yourself as. It has nothing to do with your status. Doing a 1099A has nothing at all to do with your status. It has to do with being a beneficiary. That's it. If there was no United States, if there was no state of anything, and we were all just living here on this big green chunk of land with no name, but we all had trusts, you'd still do the 1099-A. Your status doesn't matter. And he also sent me another little piece of thing that he printed off. It's some information, and I thought that it was very interesting. It was written by Colonel Edward Mandel House.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's the author of the Federal Reserve.
He said he predicts the creation of the straw man in the United States. This is the first real evidence found that our current social, financial, and legal system were deliberately designed to enslave humanity. In a private meeting with Woodrow Wilson, U.S. President, 1913 to 21, Colonel Edward Mandel House predicted the banksters' plans to enslave the American people. He stated, and this is a quote, "Very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property, that's you and your children, in a national system designed to keep track of the people, and that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as a chargeback for our first paper currency. Chargeback for our fiat paper currency. Every American will be forced to register,
right,
or suffer being able to work and earn a living. They will be chattel property, and we will hold the security interest over them forever. By operation of the law of merchants under the scheme of secured transactions, Americans, by unknowingly and unwittingly delivering the bill of ladling or child or birth certificate to us, will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, secured by their pledges. They will be stripped of their rights and given a commercial value designed to make us a profit, and they will be none the wiser. For not one man in a million could ever figure out our plans, and if by accident one or two should figure it out, we have in our arsenal plausible deniability. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debts to the registrants in the form of benefits and privileges. They will inevitably reap us huge profits beyond our wild expectations and leave every American as contributors to this fraud, which we will call social insurance. Without realizing it, every American will knowingly be our servant. However, begrudgingly, the people will become helpless and without any hope for their redemption, and we will employ the high office, presidency, of our dummy corporation, USA, to foment this plot against America. Colonel Edward Mandel House.
It's right there.
I thought that's everything. And this guy said this stuff before.
Yeah.
He said it in a private meeting.
Nobody figured it out until you came along, Chris. You're the guy that figured it out. You're the one in a million.
Yeah, and they've got an arsenal. Yeah, I found that real interesting. And the cookies, man, I'm probably going to sugarcomb on these things, man. He sent peanut butter cookies And
you got enough to share with the rest
chocolate,
of us?
I don't even know if I'm going to eat. I've eaten a couple of them, but I want to make sure there wasn't any, any oils, any cannabis oils in it or anything.
Oh
yeah. Before I pass them out to my children.
So are you ready to take questions?
I'm still alive. The other cookies the guy sent were white macadamia and cranberry. Man, they're awesome. I've never eaten them like that, but they're good. Yeah, I'm ready for some questions.
All right, 314 area code. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hey, you're on. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. Hey, Chris, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for everything. First, can I go back to your friend? His name Brown. What was his first name again?
Yeah. His name's Lavely Brown. The video that you hear me talking about him in is the title is TDOC number. Let me see if I can remember it off the top of my head. It's 119564, I believe, is the title of the video. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put him on. I'm going to put him on my prayer list. I hope others do too.
Thanks a lot.
I believe that helps.
Thanks a lot.
That helps.
His address is in. His address is in the description. If any of y'all want to drop him maybe a letter of condolence or something like that, man, I'm sure he would appreciate it. And he is a writer. If you send him a card, I guarantee you he's going to write you back.
Okay, I'm going to make sure I do that too. Anything I can do to help in that regard, I don't mind. Listen, I got a couple of questions. I'm buying my son's house from him, but he's a beneficiary, but he doesn't know he's a beneficiary. So he doesn't do this stuff and won't do this stuff. But
yeah.
So anyway, so I ran into a couple of questions on the
okay.
I'm giving him the 1099-A, and then I'm going to sign it, and then he fills out the on the 1096. Is he supposed to fill that out?
Yeah.
And he fills that out, and who signs that? Me or him?
Okay.
Now he's not signing. He's not filling anything out as a beneficiary.
No, he's not. He's actually acting as a trustee in your trust. So let me see here. Let me pull up the forms right quick. On the OID, or are you talking about the 96? Yeah,
well,
on the 96. Or are you talking about the OID?
No, I was talking about the 96. The filer's name would be him, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I sign it?
The filer's name, no, he'll sign it. He's going to do the only thing that the beneficiary does is the 1099-A. Now, you can do all the other paperwork for your son, but his name will go into everything. On the OID, he will be he'll be the recipient, right? The recipient name on the OID, kind of like you were the borrower on the 1099-A, and
right.
The United States Treasury will be the payer, right? So you'll put your son's name as a recipient, his street address, and if you guys have a contract that you're doing, a sales contract, down there in the account number, you could put the sales contract number, or you can leave it blank. Over here, in all the rest of the boxes on the right, you won't put anything in it, nothing at all, okay, except the description of the obligation, okay? the obligation, the description of the obligation is what's being obligated, right?
Right.
It'll be the same as the description in 1099A. Up here at the top, when you guys look at them, up at the top, it'll say original number 1. It'll say original issue discount for the year. Okay? If this is the first time that your son is doing an OID, that'll be blank. The only thing on the right that you're going to fill out, because I'm assuming this is his first time doing this, is the description in 7, and then down in 8 you'll put the purchase price of the house, which will be the same as what it was on the 99A, 1099A. Okay, and then over in the 96 will be the same. He will be the filer. It'll be the filer's name, filer's address, the contact name, because a lot of times the contact name isn't the same as the business name, right? Like if it's a title company, you'd have that, and then you have the person that they would contact in the title. Then there's the phone number, telephone number, fax number if there is one, the email address, and down at the bottom on 96, in box 1, it'll say employer identification number. That's where you would put his Social Security number, okay?
Right.
If it's a business. And 2, it's going to be him, okay?
Yes.
1, let me back this up. Box number 1 on the 96 is going to be the business TIN number, and then box 2 will be the Social Security number. That's him, if he's acting as a trustee. So box number 2, okay? Now, if you notice the ones I've got in the video, we've talked about this just recently. People have asked, well, in the instructions it says that you can't have, or you have to have a 96 for each OID and a 96 for each 1099A. Well, that's easy. You'll have 2 of them. You'll do one 1096 for the OID. You'll do the same. You'll fill it out the same. You'll do it for the 1099A. And then over on the 1040V, you'll have your son's. In box 1, you have your son's Social Security number, and then his first name. And then you'll know in box 4 to be his first name. And then right next to that, to the right of that, is his last name. That'll be his last name. Unless if the check that's coming from the Treasury for the purchase of the house is solely going to him, then you wouldn't fill in, if a joint return, spouse's first name and middle initial. If the check is going to him and his wife, she would be down there too. And then what they'll do is they'll put that check in both of their names. Okay? So you got the dealer's address or your son's address, and then you'll have and then way over on the right below on the voucher where it says 2020 whatever years, probably say 2022, right? You can print the 1040V, you can print straight off of their website. All the other ones, the 96, the OID, and the 1040A, they all have to come from the IRS. But if you look under all the way at the right, upper right, underneath the year number, it'll say that's where you're going to put the balance of principal outstanding, which would be box number 2 on the 1099A. That right there, my friend, explains all of that. Now, you can fill all that out for him. You can have it all filled out. So, okay, son, I can dig it. You're not into this thing that Dad's into. But look, we're going to do this deal right here. I'm going to buy your house. And all you got to do is sign it. If you got it all filled out for him, you can explain it to him if you want. I mean,
so he signs that 1096 as a trustee, not a beneficiary.
Well, you see, down at the bottom of that, it's got the signature line. Okay. Right. On that signature line, he can sign his name. This is what I would suggest. Okay. Have him sign his name on that line, just like you did on the back of the 1099-A. But don't have him put beneficiary over next to the title arrow. If you look at that 1096, right, down at the bottom of the 1096, it says signature and it's got an arrow. And then it's got title and it's got an arrow. Okay? Leave that title box blank, or right of the title arrow, leave it blank. But right of the signature arrow, put the whole signature. Christopher-Allen Hauser, comma, beneficiary. Get it all to fit on that line between signature and title, the word signature and title. That way he's signing himself as a beneficiary. Anything, well, I'll just tell you this all right now. Anything you sign that has your Social Security number on it, you need to sign beneficiary. That's a must. Because it's a trust action. If you look at this whole package that you're doing, his number is going to be in the his Social Security number is going to be in the 1040V. All right. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's to be in the 1040V.
Yeah, it's a 1040V and just a 1096, I think.
Yeah, and the 1096. It'll be in those two. Okay, so what's happening? Your son is involving you and your son and are involving trust actions. This is your trust that's created. Your trust action's created on the 1099-A. His trust action will be created with the 96 and the 40V. Now, here's something else you're going to want to consider. Also, do a IRS form 8888. Okay. When you do that form, and you can get the instructions for the 8888. When you print it off, you can print that one off too. When you print it off, you print off the instructions, and it's simple. The 1199A, the standard form 1199A that we've been talking about, that's 4 pages. An 8888 is like a page and a half. It's like filling out something you'd fill out at the doctor's office. And by doing that, you can have in 2 or 3 weeks, by the time this packet hits their desk, you can have the funds electronically transferred to a bank account. But he's really going to want to open up a beneficiary account to do that. Even if he gets the check, if he waits 45 days to 60 days to get the check, he's going to want to put the check into a beneficiary account. Because when he does that, they're not going to be able to tax him. He's be able to, if you open up a beneficiary account, y'all, and you put over $10,000 in it, it doesn't have to be reported to the Treasury. Okay? Because that beneficiary account is a beneficiary trust action or a Cestui Que Trust action between you and the bank. That doesn't authorize the bank to go ahead and snitch you out for all this money you're putting in there. the IRS tried to get my money, get my CD. I had a CD in a beneficiary CD account. And, we come to get that money. I'm sorry, but we can't give you that. The minute we give you that, this guy's going to bring up criminal charges on us. So I would suggest your son get ready to learn how to be the beneficiary.
This was a big... Chris, can I ask one more question then? So in that regard, on that 1096, if you were buying a car, who signs down there? Uh-huh. If that's the 1096, the dealer up there, who signs the 1096 in that case?
Well, the 1096 in that case, say it's a dealership. You're going to put the dealer's business name at the top and the address, right? You're going to put the contact number, right? If the contact number is the owner, or the contact name is the owner, who gets the check in this dealership, Mr. Dealership Guy? Well, George Franklin gets it. Okay, George Franklin is the contact name. George Franklin's is also going to be the one on the OI or on the 1040V. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
that way they know that they know the dealership. It's the dealership that's getting the money, and they're getting it via the contact guy.
Gotcha. And then final thing, all these forms. Yes. Final thing, all these forms, ignore these addresses. Everything goes to 1111 the Treasury.
Yeah, a lot of them will say, send it to Kansas or send it to no, because see, normally that's what you would do, but this isn't normal because the Treasury is the lender. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If you were doing all these other forms and like normally they're used, when you read the directions for the 1099A, 1099C, it talks about who must file. There's the military and the post office and the courts. Courts actually file these things. And when a court does it, it's you that is the lender, and the court is the borrower, right? So that's the reason I say send them to 1111. That is the headquarters. It would be like sending, why don't you send this remittance letter to the CFO? Well, the CFO might not even be in the headquarters. He might be in some other address down where they do all the financing stuff in their corporate finance building. And that happens. That's way common. And that's what's different. You want to go straight to the head, right to the head. And when you send it, the main building is 1111 Constitutional Avenue. That's the main IRS building. That's the hub. Okay, that's where everything goes or gets dealt with in and out of. Now, inside that 1111, there's a liaison office. The Treasury has a liaison office. So you're sending this stuff to the Treasury because the Treasury is the lender. And the Treasury uses the IRS to administer. That's why the IRS is going to have their hands in it. That's why you use an IRS form. Because this stuff has to go through their high dollar, $1 billion, $1 million scanners, form scanners. And it's going to go there. Now, some people have said, I sent my packet to 1111 Constitutional, and the green card was signed from Ogden, Utah.
Right.
Okay. Ogden, Utah is one of those subsidiary offices or The other one where they do a tax court is in Arizona, is in Phoenix, Arizona. What they do in Ogden, Utah is collect. Okay? So if you get a green card back that's signed Ogden, Utah, what happened was that your packet went to Washington, D.C., and then Washington, D.C. used the mail to shoot it to Ogden, Utah. Ogden, Utah signed for it, and you get the green card. When I did the lien securities, both times, when I did the lien securities, I sent them to 1111 Constitutional Boulevard, and I got the green card signed from Ogden, Utah. So more than likely, when you send this packet off, you'll get the green card because, see, in Ogden, Utah, they'll collect. They'll collect the money from the Treasury for the house that you're buying from your son. And then they'll zip off an electronic code to their Treasury office that cuts the checks, or they'll electronically shoot it over to the Treasury, and the Treasury will electronically shoot it to your bank account. If any of y'all get a green card back from Ogden, Utah, you're getting paid. Because if you look at it, Ogden, Utah's, that's all they do is collect.
So is that for the claims as well? Not just the 1099s?
It should be.
Okay.
It should be. If they're collecting, if they're in a collection mode, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Okay.
If you've got the $100 million bond, they're even going to do that. Oh, well, here's one of those bonds, and those bonds too, folks, those bonds that y'all got, they're copies. The original bond was sent to the DTC, and they're making money with that bond. And these folks are using the proof of the copy of their $100 million to offset or whatever it is they're doing. But if you send a copy that's monetized to the Treasury, they're going to look at that $100 million bond and they're going to go, damn, here's a $100 million bond that's a copy. But whoa, check it out. This is monetized on the back by one of the people who backed the dollar. Here comes one of the bosses of the money. But hey, check it out. Why don't we put some money in this bond, $100 million? We'll get our 35% out. We'll send them 65%, or we'll put 65% in their trust. And then the other $100 million bond that's the original bond, they won't even mention that. So we're going to have this $100 million bond that's been making money. This guy's going to get $65 million, and we're going to get $100 million plus interest, and we're also going to get $35 million. Do y'all see how this could be beneficial to the federal government? You see that, Tad?
Oh, yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they make more money that they can squander if they won't put it towards the national debt in any way, but yeah.
Well, who cares? Who cares? It's about making money, man.
100, 200, 300 trillion in Social Security medical benefits for everybody. So,
yeah.
Okay, so, all right, thank you very much. We're going to go on to our next caller. 518 area code, you've been waiting. Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
What's happening, man?
Not much, brother. Just had two questions for you. So I asked this question before while you was on the live and partially answered it, but I know you was moving through the questions. If I'm a dealer and I'm offering, cars and accepting 1099As, I remember you said, that it can be bad, and it has been bad for people who have, done too many, and they came down on them or, made them slow down. So, and let's just say in the case of a dealer, like if I'm a dealer, I want to accept 1099As, right? Because we got a bunch of people in the group trying to get cars for 1099As, and they're looking for dealerships and everything. So if I'm a dealership that accepts it, obviously I want to be, I want to portion it out. I want to make sure I don't do too much. But you're also teaching us to send a conditional acceptance and force them to do it. So at what point, when we're looking at it from a person sending it from that point of view, then it's all good. But for the dealer, it's putting them in a tight spot because, even when they feel like they're doing too many, now there's people basically forcing them to do it. So I just wanted to get your, opinion from that point of view.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Here's the thing about doing it that happened 7 years ago, and the agents came in on, and I'll tell you the name of the dealership if y'all want to know. It's called Stennett Chevrolet. It's right here in Newport. What they were doing is they were doing this like crazy. People that could afford to finance their car, they were, hey man, let me show you how you do this, and where they were getting almost 100% of their sales were coming by way of the 1099A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, their janitor that pushed the frickin' brim around was driving a brand new truck. And what happened is they came in on them, Secret Service and the IRS came in on them, went through their books. And, their books were straight enough to not worry about having to, pay big fines and audits and stuff like that, because they were being straight with the way they were doing these. They weren't charging a crazy amount. They were sticker pricing the cars, and that's what they were getting. And but they were doing this like crazy, bro, to where they almost wasn't getting it by the normal way. But all they did was came in and shook them down. You know what I mean? Shook them down, scared them up, and they never charged them with any. They never fined them with anything. They never took anybody to jail. They basically came in, scared them up, and told them, you better fly straight. And that's not necessarily meaning give up the deal. And I would suggest that the lighter percentage of your sales, do it to 1099A.
Once a person, but the problem is also, not to cut you off, Chris, I apologize, but once, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate because I've entertained.
I totally get it, man.
Another thing we're doing in the group is we're telling everybody, right, which from that perspective is, hey, let's put this list together so when people come, they could contact people that we already know is doing it. So I guess if you are selling a bunch of cars already, and then, we getting people from the group who are purchasing cars for their friends, their family, I guess it's on the dealer to tell people, look, I've done 10, 20 of them, or whatever amount in the last month, and we only do this amount per month. So you got to wait till next month or something like that. I guess it's on them to put some self-discipline and control.
Yeah, what you could do, though, too, is you guys are all connected. All these dealerships are connected. If one guy's heavy, hey, man, we got to knock this off for this month. But we, my dude down the street there, man, he's got a dealership. Go down there and, if you want to wait till next month to come in, help each other out. You can call a dealership down the road and say, hey, I'm going to send you one, man. They may give you a cut of the profits for selling it for them.
Right.
You could do that. You could do it like that. But see, here's the thing about it, bro. When you do this, it's not it's not harming like you would think that it is. When people do this, it's not a harming kind of thing where you're hurting folks by doing what you're doing, or hurting yourself because the money's coming from trust. It's like I was telling Tad. If you want someone to know that you did a claim of lien on them, then you need to make a copy of it and send it to them by certified mail, return receipt, or registered mail, because you may hit somebody like my ex-wife, man. He's got a $4 million lien on his ex-wife. My ex-wife's like, well, I ain't got no money. And then I sent the claim of lien to the Treasury, and the Treasury collected from her trust. She wasn't none the wiser. You know what I mean? Because this system was set up to make you think you're broke. She would have never known if I hadn't done the UCC filings on these public officials that I did. They may have never been notified that I did this to them.
Okay.
The Treasury might have went to the IRS and said, "Hey, man, get this money out of these people's trusts." Well, okay, IRS, get the money out, send it to the Treasury. The Treasury gets their cut and gives you yours. And these people don't even know my ex-wife that, was struggling to finance a used Jeep. Doesn't know she could have bought a brand new $80,000 Jeep Wagoneer. They don't understand that. This country's made us believe that we're all poor and that we're all slaves. Okay. As far as hurting the dealership, it didn't hurt Senate Chevrolet, man. Nobody went to jail. Nobody was fined. It was just, hey, man, you're overdoing this. You're getting a little, when the shit starts to stink, people tend to notice.
Okay.
As long as you keep plenty of lime in the outhouse, your neighbors won't complain about the smell.
Right. All right, my second question, I appreciate that too. Thank you. So I understand the conditional acceptance, how it works. I understand the postal rule. I understand that. Start researching offering acceptance. Watched all your videos, how you can put something in front of someone if they don't say anything, they accept it, and the different ways to accept things. I just wanted to ask, I guess from a perspective of already knowing all of these things, like what makes a conditional acceptance so powerful? I understand that we can take it and turn it over to the Treasury, and then start. Once you get enough people that done that, you're gonna teach people how to do the letters of credit. And you also said your last video that it wasn't too hard to even make them. But I guess what I'm asking is, what makes a CA so powerful besides that makes a company, once they receive it, double back or walk back on their original statement or decision, like. Because I guess a lot of them don't, like you said, we want them not to actually accept it. We want them to deny because we get to that point. But what inside of it, or how does the process work with a conditional acceptance that makes it so powerful? If it has other powers besides just turning it into something that could be turned into a letter of credit.
Yeah, I got you. That's one thing. Get ready, y'all, because I'm fixing to roll this all out. In a conditional acceptance, you put in the facts. I was talking to somebody that was talking about, these people committed crimes against me. Well, put it in the facts, because they're going to contractually agree that they committed these crimes. If you read the conditional acceptance, we hit them with everything. And then we also say that it's conspiracy, because there's more than one. There's always more than one. because there's, even if it's just one, there's the principal too. That makes it conspiracy. That's part of it. You're going to have these people contractually admitting that they committed crimes, not just contractually admitting that they're giving you their power of attorney to create the liens. Another way it's powerful is you serve the attorney generals of the state and of the United States as a witness to your contract. That makes it strong. If they want to take it into court, you can subpoena the attorney generals in, and the attorney generals have to say, I'm a witness to that contract. Wow. That's real contract right there. That's part of it. Then in the case of what I did with the judges, the 4 circuit court judges, the sessions court judge, the circuit court clerk, the county attorney, the commander of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, all these big, powerful people. Once you owe me money, judge, clerk, how are you going to prosecute me? How are you going to bring me into your county jail and take me up there to a courthouse that owes me $12 million or that had to pay me $12 million? These conditional acceptances, especially when it involves the so-called legal system, it biases them. I've got a contract that says Tracy Trott and his principal, which is the Tennessee Highway Patrol, are indebted to me for $4 million. And when the Treasury collected, it went from being indebted to me to having to pay me. Now, how are you going to pull me over and say that, oh, well, you were speeding, we're going to give you a ticket? How can you say that without being biased? That's what the conditional acceptance does. That's another thing that it does. So it gets folks to convict themselves or agree or confess to crimes, right? It biases the court system. It brings in the most powerful players in the so-called judicial system as your witness. Then it gives you the opportunity to do claims of liens. That affects them. You want to know how it affects them? If I put a claim, if I do a claim of lien on you and I send it to the Treasury, and I do the UCC ones, we don't do that anymore. There's no need to. But once I do the UCC ones, you don't get a toothpick on credit. It will mess you up. Imagine being a judge and your wife is, used to all the fine, the Gucci and the Coach and all that, Michael Kors and all that. And she's going to she's going out to get her a new Michael Kors pocketbook for $360. And she rolls off in there and they go, ma'am, this card's been declined. Well, here, try this one. This card's been declined. You're going to have a judge's wife being totally embarrassed because her cards are being declined. That's what it'll do. It will piss off the judge's wife.
Well,
all kinds of stuff, bro.
There's some hazards with that,
let me
too.
roll off. Okay.
There's some hazards with that as well. You have a SWAT team show up at your door as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not.
And that happened. Yeah, that happened.
So is there anywhere else besides, the process that we're doing with it to create letters of credit? Is there anywhere else that can be brought a conditional acceptance? Like, does it go anywhere? Can it go anywhere else besides just creating letters of credit with it? Like, is there other powerful things, outcome?
Well,
outcomes.
Here's the thing, bro. When you do a conditional acceptance, you do the claim of lien and the assignment agreement, and you contract with the Treasury. Say you had $100 million, and you contracted with them, give them 35%. If they send you $65 million, you don't get to do letters of credit because you get the money. It's when they don't give you the money after the 45 days. You got a contract. Here's 35%, and 45 days are up, and you don't have your check for $65 million, or it hasn't been deposited into your account that you want it to go to. Well, then you know that your Social Security Cestui Que Trust has at least $65 million in it, at least. All these people that are going around here, I'm a secured party creditor. That's okay if that's what you want to believe. Everyone is a secured party. Everyone that has a Social Security Cestui Que Trust account is a secured party. You only become a secured party creditor when you can write letters of credit off of your trust. All these people that are out here, I'm sure I'm going to piss a few of them off. But, I'm a secured party creditor. Okay, then write a letter of credit off of your trust. If you can't do that, then you're not a secured party creditor.
So I could just imagine everyone asking me since I have it here, to go into the letters of credit, which is like the tell-all, be-all. This is what it all comes down to when nothing else works, and a lot of people, I guess, pulled the trigger on a few on some letters, and nothing came back. Sent the conditional acceptance, and nothing came back. And there may be a few people building up. I'm waiting to see some outcomes from a few 1099As myself. But once you make that video, which I guess you said you'll be doing it, as soon as you start feeling like it's the right time. Once you let that information out, you think it's you think that's it, like that's where it ends, or there's self-control needed with that too, the same way you need, there's discipline and self-control in just about everything you taught us.
You do. You do. Think of how many people out there, man, you give them, there's going to be a lot of crackheads and meth heads and junkies, heroin junkies, that are going to get their hands on a bunch of money. And what are they going to do? They're going to do foolish things with it. And even people that aren't drug addicts, they're going to do foolish things with it. How many times have you heard of the guy that won $300 million in the lottery, and 5 years later he's broke? If you're going to get prepared to do these letters of credit, folks, you better start learning how to manage your money. You better start thinking about investment banking. You better start thinking about taking a certain percentage of the money you get and put it in precious metals. Diversify your money.
Rich dad, poor dad.
What you feel about private banking? I heard of that before. I haven't. You heard?
That's what you would be. That's what you would be. You've all heard me talk about Wacko. That's what I did with him. I did private banking stuff, man. Let's do a contract. We'll do a contract, and then I'll give you a letter of credit, and you can take a copy of the contract and the letter of credit down to the Federal Reserve Bank in Atlanta and walk in there and show them what you got and tell them where you want the money transferred to. 3 or 4 days later, he had the money dropped in his Miami account. I did the same thing with an excavating company here close to home. I got a track hoe that dig a 18.5-foot deep hole.
so we do have other people that are waiting. We got to get to them here.
I appreciate you, Chris, man. Thank you. I'm following you everywhere.
Yeah, brother.
I appreciate you, man. You're a blessing.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, help them folks with them cars, man.
Albany, New York, 518 area code. You're next.
Hi, gentlemen. Thank you again for doing this, and thanks, Chris, for answering all these questions. I have just a pretty quick one. I submitted everything to a dealership to purchase a car, and I just want to make sure I did it right. I filled out all of I filled out the 1099A, and then I did the other 3 forms for them. But I used all different years on the forms. For example, the 99A was a 2021 form for a March acquisition date.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
They don't care. This is a quick answer.
Oh, good.
They don't care. They'll amend
awesome.
They'll amend all that stuff.
Oh, fantastic.
They'll amend it.
So I used it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And then in box 1 on the OID, I put the purchase price there. Is that correct?
No.
I put it there and
here's the thing.
I did it in both.
If you put it in 8, you're good. If you put it in 8, you're good. Listen, folks, when you do the OID the first time of the year, or actually the guys who are selling you the car, they're the ones that actually did it. You filled it out for them, but they actually signed it and sent it off. Here's how this normally works. Say this dealership, you're the first one you're doing this with. They're the first. You're the first one they're doing this with. Normally, for this year, okay, they would put it in box 8, and that's it. But say Joe Johnson comes in right behind you. Hey, I got a 1099A. Well, they're going to do box 1 and box 8. That's going to tell the IRS and the Treasury that this is the second time he's done this, or he's done this more than once this year. Okay? The first time you use the OID for the year, you do just box 8. You leave box 1 empty.
Okay.
And then after that, after the next time, if you go in there again, and, well, you wouldn't be getting a second car this year anyway, but...
possibly for one of my children, but...
Well, you can only get one car per adult, per household, per year. Okay? If you want to get one for your children, are they 18?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you won't be able to do that.
Okay, that's okay. But just for example,
but you can get
paying...
you can get your you could get like one of your parents to do it.
Okay.
And then as soon as they get the car, they can turn it over to your daughter or your son or whatever. I mean, there's ways around all this, y'all.
If we were paying,
okay, go ahead.
If we were paying somebody else, like let's say another company for work on a house, for example, and it's, let's say, the second time that they've taken a 1099A, what would go in the OID box number 1? Would it be the total?
Okay.
Of.
Yeah. Say me and you're neighbors, and I have a porch. I have a deck made on the back of my house, and you see these guys are doing a fantastic job, and I tell you, hey man, they'll take a 1099A. When they file that OID, and it's the second time in a year, this is the second porch they built this year, they're going to put the price in box 1 and box 8. And then if they go to the neighbor after that, they're going to do box 1 and box 8. Every time they do an OID for the rest of the year, they're going to put that amount in both boxes, 8 and 1.
So 8 and 1 will be the same number. It's not the addition of the first.
Yeah, it'll be the same number.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. That's really helpful. One other thing I wasn't sure if I did correctly is...
Okay.
This might help somebody else too. This is super quick. I put the VIN number, but I didn't write the make, model, and year, but I did put the VIN. will that cover everything?
In the description on the 1099-A?
Yeah.
That would probably be good enough.
Okay, good.
As long as, because the VIN number's got all that information on it.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Except maybe the color. I don't know. It should even have the color on too.
Okay.
But yeah, for future reference, people, make, model, color, VIN number.
Okay. Thank you so much. This was
Okay.
really helpful.
Right.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for calling.
Okay, 919 area code. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing? How you doing, Chris? My name's Alicia. So I just have a quick question. I did the remittance coupon, say about maybe a couple of weeks ago, like the beginning of March. I received a letter from Credit One, and they basically said the above referenced Credit One account has been closed due to unauthorized payment activity. And they basically closed the account, and they have already reported the closed account to the credit bureau. My question is, what should my next step be? I've seen so many different responses in the group. Some saying do a CA, and then I'm seeing others just basically saying send a letter to the CEO. So I just wanted to get your input on that.
Yeah, I've heard this same verbiage. What they just told you is they've closed it for an unauthorized payment, right?
Mhm.
Is that how it goes? Read that again.
It says the above referenced Credit One bank account has been closed due to unauthorized payment activity.
Okay. So you've paid it.
Yeah,
think about
they
that.
did
Think
not
about what
return,
that sentence just said.
Exactly.
Well, think about that. The actual statement that they just said is it was paid. It might have been unauthorized, but it was paid. Right? Did your credit score go up?
No, it dropped.
Okay.
Because of it.
It dropped because of it.
Yes. Because they closed the account.
Everybody I talked to so far is saying that when they do that, I've heard that same verbiage, man, a half a dozen times. Their credit scores are going up. And if you think about it, if it's an authorized or an authorized payment, it's still a payment nonetheless. And they did not send you back your 1099-A or your coupon or both.
No.
Did you send a coupon?
I just did the coupon.
Or a 1099-A? Okay,
just the coupon.
They haven't sent the coupon back, have they?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, that coupon is just like your check. If you sent them a check to pay it off, they would have accepted it. If they wouldn't have accepted it, they would have sent it back to you. Right? If you'd have just sent them a check for the money and they sent it back and said, we can't accept that. Right? Think about that. They would send it back to you, would they not?
Yes, they
would say, we can't accept your check and then keep it. It doesn't work like that. What you do now is a conditional acceptance.
Okay.
Well, that's what you do now. And in the conditional acceptance, if you just want them to make sure that they take care of this balance, you can do the conditional acceptance. And in the conditional acceptance, when you do the conditions, you can say, this is option A, and then do all the conditions. And then you can do, this is option B. This is option B. Settle the debt and send me a statement showing a zero balance. Remove this from this bogus reporting from the credit bureau, and send them notice that it was duly paid. And then what you'll do is they'll look at that and they'll go, look, we can do this right here. If we take option A, we're going to get hit. We're going to get hit. But look, we can just do this right here. She's given us the other option. That's what we did in prison. In a lot of cases, that's what we did in prison. When we did the conditional acceptance, we added option B. And we did that because one guy, he didn't want all the money. I said, you must be crazy, but whatever. I just want to go to a prison that's flat land. I got a flat land AVO. I can't be walking up and down these hills, and I got bad ankles and knees. I just need to go somewhere where it's flat. So we put that. I said, okay, just add option B in there. Send me to the prison, a flat land prison. The warden came to him 5 days later and said, these are the prisons you can go to. Which one do you want to go to? Well, as soon as he said, I'll go to this one, and they transferred him, they ripped the conditional acceptance up. Yeah. Okay, we met condition B. We met option B. We're good. And that's what they were doing a lot. A lot of times they were adding that. Them guys didn't want to do the they didn't want the money, which I thought was kind of crazy. Why are you going to go through all this and give up all these millions of dollars? A lot of them didn't have a lot of faith in it. That's the way it is in prison. But that's what I would do if I were you. Write a conditional acceptance and send it to them. And you need to go straight at them for the money, but don't recontract with them. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is they're going to send a third-party debt collector on you. What they're going to do. Actually, they're probably not going to, because they're not going to do it fast enough. Not as fast as you're going to do a conditional acceptance and serve it on. But normally, when you do something like that, and they sell the debt to a third-party debt collector that you don't have a contract with. So really, what's happening is they're buying your debt. They're actually doing you a favor. They're buying your debt, which means you don't owe the old contract anymore. And you haven't contract with the third-party debt collector. So that's what I would do.
Okay. And it's funny. They sent me a bill right after it for April. And when I logged in a few minutes ago, the account still looks like it's open. It doesn't say anything about it being closed or anything.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. And then one more thing, I'm sorry. I found on the back. I found on the back of the statement in the fine print in the payments area, and it talks about the restrictive endorsements. So I know for a fact when you put pay to whoever for deposit only, I know that is considered restrictive endorsements. Are you sending it, should I send it to the address where they're telling me to send that to, or am I sending it to the CEO?
I'd send it to the CEO. You want to get him involved. That letter that you're going to send, when you guys send these remittance letters to the CEO, you're going to have proof that they accepted it. And then you're going to be able to turn around in your conditional acceptance and say, hey, you agreed by contract that you accepted this. You committed fraud. You're charging them with trust fraud. You start throwing out felony charges on them, they get right real quick. And believe me, they'll take, if they've not had them before, and the attorneys don't mess around. When they read that contract, like the attorney for the prison did, the first one we served on the warden, they got the compounder, the prison's attorney, to come in and look at it. And the attorney told the disciplinary board, you better drop those charges. You better just drop the charges on that guy and hope this goes away. Well, when they dropped the charges, we knew what we were doing. We knew we had them. And then we were wide open. That conditional acceptance, folks, has a lot of power.
Okay.
You will
Okay.
that CEO will shit a Twinkie.
Don't want to eat it though.
Yeah, he will. When he hears back from his lawyer, he's gonna sweat. It's gonna sweat him.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks
you
so
for
much.
calling.
Okay. 337 area code. You're next.
Yes, this is Sharon. I just want to say one thing. I've been writing to lately, and I appreciate you putting out his address there.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry about hearing that his dad passed away. And I'm in the process, which I'm going to be mailing a letter tomorrow about looking for leather companies that will accept the 1099A for him.
He asked me if I'd heard from you.
Okay. He said that in the letter, but I know he's busy. And I'm glad.
He said you do a lot of work with prison or dealings with things in the courtroom and stuff, right?
Well, I do ministry work.
What was your name again? Your first name?
It's Sharon. I'm the one that, and I'm sure he gets a lot of letters and talks about.
He does.
People.
Yeah.
It's the benevolent. What I'm associated with is they. I told him, I said, if we could just let them know, hey, you can do a 1099A and have a house, a home, because there's so many that's homeless and. But I won't take up much time. I'm in the process of doing my CA to the mortgage company and to a couple of credit cards. And the mortgage company that I have, I cannot find their CFO or their chief of operations, but they have a board of directors. Along with the CEO, I thought about doing the chairman of the board, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. Should I do all of them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every single one of them. I spoke with somebody this week about that. Yeah, I spoke with somebody this week about that, about getting after the board. Yeah, you can. They are you could do the same thing. If you're going to send a conditional acceptance to the president, if you send one to Joe Biden, you could get his whole cabinet if you wanted to. That could get a little expensive because there's a lot of them. But you can.
All right.
We have
I will.
We have a conditional acceptance. We have a conditional acceptance for the jab. And it's almost 40 pages long. It's almost 40 pages long. And it has a lot of information in it, folks. About what's really going on. All these. I think it's a shame. A couple of years ago, when this started, all of our healthcare workers were heroes, like our military. Our military guys were all heroes, and now because they won't take an experimental drug. Now they're scumbags. They're lowlifes. Kick them out. Take their job away. The same thing with the military. And these guys are our heroes and stuff, man. And because they won't take a shot, we're going to kick them out. There's going to be hell to pay for this when this is over.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I didn't have to.
But yes, you can.
Go up. And I will. And I opened up a beneficiary account, no problem. And and you answered that. Lady answered the other question that I had. But all right, now as far as the amount, like to put in there, I mean, is there a minimum or a maximum? Like I thought about was
whatever the bank allows.
To like 10
Are you
million?
talking about? Are you talking about the liens, not how much you can put in the bank account, right?
Right. No.
Look, folks.
That was what I was asking.
If you're talking about, you're talking about in the liens or in the conditional acceptance.
Yes, in the conditional acceptance.
Yeah. In the conditional acceptance, how much do you put down that you're going to do the securities for? A lot of people ask me that. Hey, when I do the conditional acceptance to get the 1099A to get the car, do I put $4 million in there? No, you put the amount of the car in there. That's because they see the 1099A that I'm holding up. It's got $4 million on it. The money. People ask me, why'd you do it for $4 million? Because 4 sounded good. It's not. It's a lot of money, but it's not too much. It's not excess. There's been some people write conditional acceptances. $100 million. Now all of a sudden you got 12 people and you got $1.2 billion and that's a little excessive. I think they may not have that much money in their trust.
Okay.
I like to use $3 million, $6 million, $9 million. Probably no more than $12 million. Why? Because 369 is the Fazio number. That's why I use 3, 6, and 9. $3 million is a good amount. If you got the CEO, you're going to have the principal, and if you've got 8 board members and you're doing $3 million, that's right smart of money. You have $30 million right there.
Okay.
The treasury's get. No, it's each. If you hit one, if you've got the trustees and their principals, if you've got 8 of those or 9 of those, and you got one business entity too, or the one principal too, then you do it for $3 million or 6. You do it for $6 million. That's $60 million. You're going to give the Treasury a little over $20 million. And you're going to walk away with a slick 38, 39. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the way that works. There was a guy on the call last week, the live call last week. He had like 170 some people. I said, "Whoa, cowboy, more slow. Do you know what that's gonna? You got a 35-page document, and you're gonna make 175 copies of it. It doesn't work like that. And like I wouldn't do that many ever, because I'm not going to get into that. What that would take. That's a monumental challenge right there. But he seemed like he wanted to get a bunch of them. Let me get back to the beneficiary account right quick.
Okay.
Look, folks, if you open a beneficiary account and they say we've closed your account, and they send you back a check for the money that's in it, do not cash that check. Because think about it. If they're going to close your account and send you the money, if you don't cash the check, you have to endorse the check for them to say, okay, we paid them the money, now we can close the account. If you open a beneficiary account and they tell you that they closed your account and they send you a check, and you call back and you say, I'm going to put this check in a frame on the wall. This check will never be cashed. Okay? Now you can turn around, folks. Say you put $200 million in that, or you put $200 in that account, and they sent you a check for $200. Now, we're closing your account. We can't have no beneficiary account. They send you that check. You don't cash that check, right? You can turn around and write thousands of dollars worth of checks off of that account. I've talked to 2 people in the last couple of weeks that have been told that their accounts were closed, and they writing $500, $2,000 checks out to pay things off with, and they didn't even have $200 or $300 in the account. That account is still open. Okay. Anytime a bank says your account is closed, it is still open for transactions, and they're working off of your trust at least up to $250,000. They will do that.
Well, I told him
I spoke.
Okay,
you told him what?
So does that answer your question?
Yes, and I appreciate it. I told him it was a beneficiary account, and she said, "Well, what are you going to use it for?" I said, "Well, I'm going to have funds for my trust go in it," and I said, "It's like retirement. You know, I'll get retirement checks or for my trust and put in there." She said, "No problem," and I got my checks, and I've been writing checks off of it, signing the beneficiary.
Yeah, and they've been cashing them. They've been cashing them and accepting them. Right. And absolutely.
Right. So we have a lot
Don't let them
close.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, 281 area code. You're next.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Thank you for taking my question. I have a quick question. I have a situation with a dealership, and I went in trying to purchase a car, and I had the 1099A plus all the other forms that go along with it, and they didn't understand the process, so I explained all of that. But they was okay with filing the forms, but they didn't want to mail the forms. So I'm kind of lost on what I need to do next.
Mail them for them.
I can mail them
for them. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
All you need to do is get them to sign that 96.
Okay.
Then you can fill out the rest of them, put them in a package, and send them next day air if you want to.
Got it. Okay. I had one other question real quick, because I just heard someone else asked about the 1040V and then the 1096. Now, the 1040V, so should that be the dealership name on the 1040V or the contact person's name on the 1040V?
Well, it'll be the contact person's name.
The contact person's name.
Well, it'll be the contact person's name. They're going to be the ones that gets the money. They're going to be the ones that the IRS wants to contact, or the Treasury will contact via their email.
Got it. Okay, well, I'm going to have to take them back in and get the guy to sign it. I'm good. That was perfect. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for calling tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oops. Sorry. Okay, 313 area code. Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, Chris. How you doing, man? This is Jonas calling you.
All right.
Got a question. Now, if I have a maintenance company and I've got people that I can accept 1099A, so if there's work to be done and say a fence or what have you, I can accept the 1099A, my company, and I can subcontract the work out and then pay that company. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
What you'll do is you like we've been talking about with the 1099 or the 96. You'll be the company will be the dealership. You'll be the contact person. You'll be the person on the 1040V. And then what you do is you get your money from the company. You can so do that, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Because
the company's yours. You know what I mean? The company's yours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I got
you can so do that, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Now on the 1099A, if you buy a home, let's say the home is $5 million, fair market value be $5 million.
Yeah.
But if it's anything over, you would put the total amount in the for the balance of the principal outstanding. So if it's $5 million and you want to make sure the closing costs are in there, just say it's $6 million total. That you would put that.
Yeah, like if you wanted to remodel some stuff or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. Now my final.
Yeah, if you got a house, I'm talking with a gal out there in Memphis. She's getting a $6 million home contracted. Yeah, and what you would do is say you went and bought an old mansion, okay, and you wanted to do you picked it up for a song. It's $4 million, right? But you had about $1.3 million in renovations that needed to be done.
Right.
Oh, Chris, you're breaking up.
Yeah, could be losing me, man.
Okay, I got that. Last thing is I got a buddy that's trying to call in as well, but he has a son that's locked up, and he's been to court with them. They threw him out because he's on the private side, and he wanted to bill so he could take care of everything. And the attorney, his son's attorney, told the judge who he was, what he was trying to do, so they kind of put him out of the courtroom. Well, his son's been in jail for some years. He's trying to get him out, but he needs to know the avenue to go to either get the bill. You know what I mean? And I know that you will get helping your buddies get out. So what avenue would he take to get that bill or to get the CUSIP number for the bill so he can pay it? He's taking it all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court. They just won't give him any answers.
Okay. What he needs to do is he needs to do a FOIA request to the Court of Original Jurisdiction, requesting all the penal bond numbers. Once he's rejected, he'll get a rejection letter. Once he's rejected, he can take that rejection letter and go straight to the DTC and do a FOIA request with the DTC. And it'll take them a little while because they got to fish around for everything, get it all together. Then when he gets that, when he gets those bond numbers, he can do the let me see here. Once he gets those bond numbers, he can I'm trying to pull up a document that I got here that we've been kind of going by. Let me see here. There's a process that we're going through, and what it is. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me fine?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Because I thought I might be losing you there for a minute. There's bonds. Okay, those you're going to get the number for those bonds, and I'm trying to pull up a little. The penal bonds, right? There's for each charge, there's 3 bonds, at least 3 bonds that are created. In some cases, they're 6 per charge. Okay, and they could all have a value of $2 million. Okay,
right.
So say he's got 5 charges, and there's 6. That's $12 million per charge, right? And you got 5.
Right.
You got $60 million. Okay, in bonds that were created. And what you'll do is the bid bond is the SF24, the performance bond is the SF25, and the payment bond is the SF25A. Okay, and then there's the Miller Act bonds, which is SF227 or SF273, SF274, and SF275. Okay, those are that's the bond numbers that they'll be. Standard form, that's what SF is.
Right.
Okay, and then what you'll do is you use, because of the public law 73-10, right? His son will be able to take the 1099A or the 1099 OID. The OID is tax the eligibility issue. The 1099 OID taxes the eligibility issue back to the source. Okay. So what happens when you do that? You take the 1099A, and with the number down into where you have account number, you're going to put the bond numbers on there, and then the amount.
Okay.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to send those 1099As to the DTC. And what those 1099As, they'll be endorsed. What you're doing is what he'll be doing is he'll be paying off the bonds with the 1099A. Right. And what he'll be doing is he'll be paying off the bonds early. So what happens to those bonds then is they get returned to the original court. In my case, there was 42 charges. And if there's 6 bonds at $2 million apiece, that's 12 times 42. That's $504 million that I can discharge or pay off early. Well, those go back to the original court. Now, all of a sudden, Davidson County is responsible for, 28% of $504 million. They're responsible for the taxes on that money because they were settled before they matured. So what Davidson County will do is they will send those back. Oh, we're not touching these. They'll send them back to the DTC. And then what his son will do is he'll turn around and he'll write 1099A. But on this side of it, the first time it's going to be acquisition. He's going to take money from the Treasury and pay off the bonds. So the second time he uses the 1099As, they're going to be for, they're going to be for abandonment because Davidson County abandoned the bonds. Well, if they're abandoned and you use them for the 1099As for the abandonment, you get the money back.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
And because you were the one that they were issued on, you're not taxed because, remember, every taxpayer is a Cestui Que Trust.
Cestui Que Trust, yep. So I got everything, but when you said the 1099 OID, you take the 1099 OID and do what with?
Oh, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
No, you're not going to. No. What they are is all these bonds are 1099A or 1099 OID eligible issues. That means they are eligible to use the 1099 OID.
Oh, okay, got you. So he does a FOIA request for all the bonds, then go you send that to the DTC.
Yeah. The FOIA request will go to the original court that created the bonds, and they're more than likely they're going to refuse to give you those bond numbers. So that's when you're going to do a FOIA request. You got to go to the original court first and get that rejection, because they'll take that rejection and say, look, they rejected my FOIA request, and they can't do that. So here's a FOIA request to you, DTC. And they're going to look for those bond numbers. Yeah. All right? So that's what's going down with us in the prison. I got people that are refusing, they're refusing parole because they want to discharge these bonds first.
And they don't want to have to deal with halfway house. But, well, I thank you. Right. And again, side note, thank you for trying to reach out to that escrow agent for me, but he was at dinner, but I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. He never did call me back. I even I called him the other day and left a message on his answering service.
I'll get on it tomorrow, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks a lot.
All right. You too, brother.
Hey, Chris. How are you, hon?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Alicia, England, Kentucky. Quick question for you. Actually, I got three. First one, we've got someone that's fixing to lose their home. They have 4 weeks. They put a claim of lien for $100 million on their home because of where it's at, and he actually owns the mining rights as well. They're still coming after him. So what is the next step? Where should we move forward for him?
Yeah, conditional acceptance, man. When you guys do these, UCC filings, and you put a lien on the house, the very next thing you ought to do, very next thing you ought to do is conditionally accept, because they can't move. Well, they may try, but it's not going to go well for them. Once you do the conditional acceptance, there's a court a foreclosure or court that's been done on him to get it. They're probably wanting the mining rights. They probably want that more than anything.
Yep.
So
conditional acceptance.
Yeah, always do a conditional every time you put a lien on your house to stop the foreclosure. Conditionally accept the court, the clerk, the principal itself, whatever court it is in. Get the mortgage company, the mortgage company's attorney, all that stuff, man. Because then they've contracted you. They agreed that they're stealing this from you. They will agree that they're stealing your neighbor's land. Put all those crimes in there and make them all conspirators. You know what I'm saying?
I'm running as fast as I can. Okay, next question.
Get on it.
We are on it. Next question. Can additional vehicles be purchased for business purposes if that's how this family is going to survive? Like if they want to purchase 2 vehicles and use them for business services so they can make money to support their families.
No, you can't.
No.
You can't buy. No, you can't buy. You cannot use the trust.
I thought so, for personal use only.
If you can buy them for personal use and you want to use them for business, by all means, go ahead.
Okay, so let's buy for personal.
Yeah, buy them for personal reasons. If you got a business, a lawn care business, the beneficiary needs a truck because, I like to cut grass. I got a big yard at my house. I like to cut grass. And, I also need a trailer and a mower.
Okay, so let's buy them for personal reasons and then use them for business.
Buy them for personal using. And then if you want to use them for your business also, who cares? You know?
Okay.
You just
Third
can't
question.
Can't buy them and give them to the business. You know what I mean?
Understood. Thank you, sir. Last question. I'm trying to make it really quick. What do you do if a circuit court clerk has refused a 1099 A as payment for restitution? If the person signed deferred judgment under duress and agreed to pay back restitution, but the circuit clerk is refusing that is legal tendered payment.
Did they take it?
No, but it was not mailed.
So you went.
It was handed in person.
Mailed.
It was handed in person at the clerk's office.
Send it.
So to mail it.
Send it to them. Send it to them like you would a remittance letter, but you don't have to add all the coupon and the, you know, if you guys are sending 1099As, you're using the remittance letter process. You don't have to put all the stuff about the, but this is gonna be sent certified mail, ergo the postal rule. It's notarized. It's you know. This is a 1099A is a lawful payment, and you're agreeing that you are accepting this as a payment.
Once they receive it in the mail.
Send it to them certified mail.
Okay.
So send it to them certified mail. You'll have a contract that they agreed that they accepted it.
Okay. All righty.
And then if they want to be assholes about it, turn around and go, hey, do you need me to help you with this? Look at the instructions for the 1099A. It says courts and administrative courts file these. How is it not a payment if they're doing it themselves?
Right.
Those bonds that they're creating, that I just got done talking about.
Yes, sir.
They're using 1099As to create them. How could they not accept one as a payment? Send it to them certified mail.
Okay. So certified mail, remittance letter process, and then conditional acceptance 3 days later. Correct? Certified mail, pictures of everything.
Yeah, do the if they try to say they won't accept it, if they contact you back and they say they won't accept it, yet they're not giving it back, hit them with a conditional acceptance.
Okay.
You agreed that you would accept this. And you did it. I'm getting you to accept this 1099A, like you get people every day to accept a summons to appear.
Okay.
They're not going to like it. They don't like it when you do what they do.
Yeah.
They don't. I'm telling you, they don't like it at all. But there's nothing they can do about it. If they don't accept it via the postal rule, then they can't sit back and say, our summons are good.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So the postal rule
wait
is
a
the
minute.
key.
If you want it, absolutely. The key, that's the key to a lot of stuff. You know, look, if you're not going to take my 1099A, if this isn't a lawful common law contract, you agreeing that you're taking this, you're accepting this 1099A as payment, well, then you don't have a common law contract when you send this summons to appear out.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll accept it. You just got to know how to argue it when they try to be bonehead with you.
Okay, so if this isn't a lawful common law contract, then say that last part one more time.
Then your summons isn't a lawful contract, and you can't do these judgments on them anymore. These default judgments. You know what I'm saying? You can even probably put that in your letter. This is a lawful payment. You're agreeing that you're taking it. And if you try and say that it isn't, well, then neither is your summons to appear via the postal rule a lawful contract. Right? That's how you'd argue that.
Okay.
You could argue it in the letter if you wanted to.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chris, for your time. I really appreciate it, hon.
Sure. Anything for a blue blooder.
That's right. All day. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, your basketball team did real good this year.
All right, 315 area code. Go ahead.
Hello. I have a quick question. So I'm in the position, I'm under contract with the house, and I've been running into issues with this the realtor and whatnot, but the title company, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting to get called on. So collecting my thoughts. I'm having an issue on them being accepting of the 1099 process due to they're worried about tax payments, and I've been following your all your teachings, and I went over the process that the trust will cover everything tax-wise that incurs with the transaction, and the trust will pay out anything of that nature, but they are still refusing to do any type of process because essentially they're scared for their job, which I understand, but I'm kind of at a loss because I don't know where else to turn. I know I can conditionally accept. I'm very thorough, and we've actually, me and my fiance, we know not to get married now through the regular system, and we're looking forward to more insight.
Yeah, well, you can get married. You can get married, just don't get a marriage license.
Yeah. So we're really struggling with this process as it's putting our buyer's agent, a friend of ours, in a tight spot. So we don't know kind of where to turn at this aspect.
Yeah. It's this is a problem that's occurred a couple of times. It's not too often. And matter of fact, the realtors can generally calm down the title people. That's what they're shaky. They're shaky. They really are. But
we're coming across lots of different since we aren't married, could I possibly write a check or write the 1099 to my fiance? And was there a certain amount? Like, could I write it for the full amount of that, and then he becomes a trustee and he can give them the check? Because I'm like telling them it's so easy, but they're so worried. And they've just kind of cut me off at this point because they wiped their hands. And she's asked her CPA, she's asked her underwriters, and da-da-da-da. And I've gone through all your videos and used everything you said to use, and saying they're in a fiduciary obligation to do this. And, if they do it and then say, oh, they get a penalty, or they'll get a warning before a penalty and whatever. But right now it's kind of like, I don't know the next step other than a conditional acceptance. And I really don't want to lose the house. So.
Yeah, I understand. And your friend you got a friend involved. You don't really want to jack him up. The thing about this is these folks are worried. They're like the accountants. I'm trying to do this with the brokerage. And the accountants are always the nervous ones. They're afraid, because they've been conditioned more than we have even. But the thing about your situation is if you can reassure these people that, look, the money's there, and when you see how this works, you guys are going to be busy.
That's what I'm saying. They just, do you want to get paid? Like, it's easy for you to get money.
Yeah, it's like, absolutely, like the dealerships. The Sarah that sent me a picture of the Honda. These people are going to make money.
Yeah.
And I know that they're scared because we've been conditioned to believe that anything you do with the IRS, man, is they'll kill you.
Exactly.
They'll come and kill you in your sleep at night, right?
When they see tax forms, it's done for. Yeah.
Yeah, they're scared. They are. They don't. Then they don't understand the concept, and I understand. I can't. There's people that are close to me that I've talked till I was blue in the face with about this stuff, and they still are scared. And that's understandable. It really is.
Is there
but
someone
the real winners in this process are going to be the ones who take the first jump. They're going to be the ones that got to jump. This title company, if they're the first ones to do this, and they see how it works, and maybe even somebody from the Treasury goes, "Hey, man, good job on that deal you guys did. Do it exactly like that. Do it exactly like that."
How do I get to that point?
And we can make some money here.
Is there realtors
you gotta,
can they just need someone to talk to? They need someone to kind of reassure them they're not doing a bad thing.
Yeah. It's but see, they won't until it's somebody I've showed all kinds of evidence where this is working, and I still can't even get my wife or my stepdaughter. I roll up on her, my stepdaughter, all the time. Hey, look at this lady here. She just got this new car. Look at this guy right here. He just had his credit card paid down. And I can show my stepdaughter, she's 23 years old. I can show my stepdaughter all of this stuff. Oh, well, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. That's about all I get. And her friends, it's hard to try and convince anybody about this stuff. And you would think people that are close to you, would have a little more confidence and be a little more open to it, but they're not. But this is happening. This is happening. And whether they like it or not, like I've said in the beginning, I know the police are in here watching these videos. They're probably listening right now. But look, and I don't care. I've had cops talk to me. Oh, well, I am a cop. But tell me about this. Here's another thing. I talked to Laveley a couple of days ago. He said, Chris, I seen a picture of you. He said, you're really wore out. You need to get some sleep. He said, you've aged a lot since this first video. He said, you need to take some time and rest. I'll rest when I'm dead. This is important right now. If 6 months takes 5 years off of my life doing this stuff, then I'll give up them 5 years. I ain't got a problem with that. But he said, I said, well, how'd you see a picture of me? He said, a guard brought it in. I said, a guard brought it in? He said, yeah, Chris. He said, he said, there's about 12 guards here at the prison that are watching your videos. And he said they know because, you see, I've talked to Laveley on the phone. I said, hey, man, you got 13,000 views on the video I made about you. And they listen because they listen in on the phone calls. Oh, these guards at the prison started watching the videos, and now they're into them. And they're asking him, hey, your friend, the one that does the videos, I got a question about this and that. And he asked me. He asked me the question. And I said, well, wait a minute. Are these cops, are these the freaking guards asking you these questions? He said, yeah. He said, this one's cool. I said, no, they're not. None of them are cool. They're police. He said, yeah, you're right. I know. But I said, look, don't tell them nothing without getting something from them.
Yeah.
You want it. Hey, you want me to tell you how this really works? I can do it. I'll take a pack of Marlboro Reds. Get a little something on them, man. Bring me a cell phone in here.
So,
and we'll talk.
Since me and my fiance aren't married in this, could I? Can he do the paperwork and I monetize my 1099 alpha to him?
Yeah.
But
hey, all you got to do.
Amount, would he be taxed at all, or would we have to worry about the large amount that it is to him?
He's never taxed. You're never taxed.
Well, yeah, I
Every
understand.
Taxpayer is Cestui Que Trust. If they send you something, yes, you can do that. All you have to do is hand him the 1099-A. Make him,
no matter how big,
your
you
trustee.
said your friend has a $6 million house.
You want to buy a $5 million home, you can give him a conditional acceptance for $5 million, as long as he's acting as the trustee.
Right.
As long as he's, and he can go straight to the buyer. He can go straight to the seller with the money.
Check. Yeah.
With a check.
Awesome.
Or you can set up an escrow and have the money come in an escrow.
We were talking about that. How exactly do we have to open up a bank account with the Benny signature, then escrow the account to deal with the home purchase?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you'd want to do.
And is there anything special about opening the escrow account?
No. Just go down and tell them you want to open an escrow account, and they'll do it. They'll do it with the beneficiary signature too, no doubt. What you want to do, here's the situation. If you, say you and your significant other, you go and you look at a $4 million home, and the guy's selling it. There isn't a home out there on the market that usually doesn't go through a couple different realtors for itself. What you do is you go out and you find the house that you want to get. And then you go to the guy after his contract is up, and you go, look, guy, we want to buy this house, but we don't want to give an 8% on the house to a real estate agent. You don't want to pay one either, do you? Why don't we just split that? Or why don't I give you the 8% that we would have paid to the realtor in this deal? And then go have a contract written up between you, your significant other, and this dude, because the house is going to be in your name. If you're going to have if you're going to have him be the trustee, then you're going to have the house in your name. Right. But once it's a done deal, right? And you get it, you got everything in your name. If you want to add him to it, you can. It just can't be when the deal goes down. It can't be in the original contract. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Can I add one more thing? Sorry. I opened up a bank account with my beneficiary signature, and can I write checks? I requested checks on that. I have to conditionally accept them before I write checks, right?
No, you're not going to conditionally accept a beneficiary signature account.
Right.
Once you get the checks, you can start writing them. But look, a beneficiary account isn't the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You have to put money in it. You're going to run it. A beneficiary account isn't any different it doesn't work any different than a normal account, except they won't charge you. Once they realize what they got, they won't charge you a service fee. You're going to have a free account. And then the only difference is your money that you put into that account will stay at that bank. They will not fractionally, there won't be any fractional banking with your check or with your money in your trust. Normally it does. You put $1,000 in your account, 900 of it's going back to the Federal Reserve on hold for the bank. You'll have 100 there at the bank, cash-wise. That's how banks work. And when they need more, they put in a request to get it. Then it comes by Wells Fargo or Armored Car or whatever. But once you do that, you're going to open that up, and they're not going to be able to charge you. But if you put $1,000 in there, you better not write $1,100 worth of checks.
Right.
Because they're not going to.
Well, Chris, it kind of contradicts what you said earlier about the gal that had the.
So if I open a beneficiary account and I get the, and I get the card, I get the debit card. Can I just take out however much money I need? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
No, what you said about the gal that they closed her account, but she still kept writing checks. That's what I'm talking about. So
and they were cash.
If they close it, so to speak, then it becomes a magical account, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, according to the two different people I've talked to over the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
And this sweet old Dutch gal, I would tell you right now that I totally believe her when she says what she said.
Okay.
She's writing checks to, and they're clearing, because she writes to people she wrote the check to, and call them and say, "Hey, did you get the money from that?" Yeah, the check cleared. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for everybody being patient. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Good luck. Hey, good luck with that. Keep us up on it.
Okay, 423 area code. Go ahead.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Chris.
Hey.
It's McCullough. I'm over in
Hey, good evening.
Chris, so not too far from you. Hey, I was just wondering, I was watching your videos about the individual tax exemption, and you said to go to Tennessee.gov and Secretary of State. And the form that you were talking about, I can't find anywhere. So when I was searching the chat, everyone's talking about this 5-star passport instead. What's your opinion on that, or do you know where the form might be? Which is the better way?
The 5-star passport. Yeah, I was talking with somebody just recently about that. The 5-star passport. I'm not exactly sure. I've seen a breakdown of what the stars mean, but I don't. The guy I was talking to that was on the group, the group Zoom meeting, we talked briefly about that, and I asked him. I said, "Could you get a passport with your with the ID that you got?" And he basically said that the ID itself was a passport. I said, "Well, the reason I'm asking is if you can get a diplomatic immunity status, well, then you can go to the State Department, and at the State Department you can get federal diplomatic tax exemption."
Right. Okay. Well, I think the easier way maybe is that form. But it seems to go on.
Yeah, you could
change the name.
Yeah, you may be able to. I was thinking about trying it when I had some time just to see what happens. That would be a good way to tell whether, I know I'm on some kind of list, some kind of sovereign list. I know I am. Driving around and having cops pull me over and not even get out of the car, do a super fast U-turn and leave. I've had that happen to me twice. Once my 8-year-old son was sitting on my lap. We were driving through town in my Tahoe, right past the courthouse. He's sitting on my lap, and I'm letting him steer, and he's waving at cops out the window. Yeah. So I thought about doing that, just applying for a diplomatic tax exemption, just to see if they would give it to me. Because if they'd give it to me, then that would be a pretty good indication that I had some diplomatic immunity.
Right.
I've had a lot of cops get behind me since I've been out of prison, follow me for blocks, and not pull me over. Of course, that could be because I'm just driving cool. I don't want to get pulled over. But I would like to see that too. I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that you can find on the, on the internet about it.
I just wondered if you had any personal experience. I'll keep looking, but I can't find the form that you're talking about to get the card that you swipe to get the sales tax taken off everything on the Tennessee.gov. I can't.
It's
individual.
I haven't looked on there. I did when I did mine. Yeah, when I did mine, it was in 2015. What you could probably do is call them, the Secretary of the State's office, or whatever state you're in. Call the Secretary of the State's office and ask them for entity tax exemption.
Okay, entity tax exemption.
There's been a couple folks, and one of them it's been a couple of months ago. He was from Texas, and he sent me a screenshot of the Texas tax exemption form. So I know that states have them, but I also know that somebody sent me one. They said, I look for your the tax exemption thing at my Secretary of the State. I think it's Arkansas. And he said that I don't see it.
Yeah.
And he said, now they have one that's called an entity. He said they had one that was called an entity tax exemption. And he said, is that it? I said, I don't know. Print it off and fill it out and sign it and see what you get.
I did see that one, so maybe I'll give that a go.
So you may be able. They may have misnomered it and misnomered it.
That's what I was
keep
thinking
people
too.
From doing
because
it.
you were quite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Just one more.
Bye-bye.
Can I say one more thing? This might help.
Quickly, please.
Too. The fear thing. People are scared to start this. It just reminded me before, when we're digging with obviously finding cases like Sherry Peel Jackson, the IRS lady who went to jail, would it be worth finding these people, or even if there was a way to get the court, what's it called? The transcripts, and go through the wording and maybe go over it with you guys and see what, this is where they went wrong. They should have said this, not this. Would that be something that we could maybe do to up our confidence, to learn from other people's mistakes?
When you talk about transcripts, a lot of them are altered. The video recording of the appellate court, the actual YouTube video was edited. I watched it live, and I watched one of the judges say, or one of the administrators say, well, I don't know much about this. This seems more like a civil matter to me, and I didn't really pay much attention in civil law when I was in law school.
Right.
He said that in the hearing.
Yeah.
He said that in the hearing, but they took it out. When you watch it now, he's not saying that.
Yeah.
That's the thing about transcripts. The judge can deduct whatever he wants to from it, but a lot of the documents, a lot of the offers that y'all get made, you got to look at the language. You got to look at the language in the letter. A guy today showed a thing on Facebook, one of the Facebook groups, and said, "Has anybody seen this?" And it was a frivolous filing letter. I've seen a dozen of them. Has anybody ever seen one of these before? But you got to look at it. When you look at that frivolous filing letter, there is the all caps name, there is dear taxpayer, there's the upper and lowercase name, there's you, and there's your. There's 5 different descriptions of something. Well, who's the real party in interest? Well, that's what you need to look for when you're taking an offer and you're conditionally accepting it. You can break down the language because most of the time they're not using the right They're not using the right word.
Exactly.
So
That's
it's
what
confusing.
was really on focus. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I just thought
I've got 668 pages. I've got 668 pages of transcripts from a 5-day court.
Wow.
If I was to go through something like that, it'd take me a long time. I did while I was in prison. I read it, and I took notes, and I highlighted things in the transcripts that I found interesting, and I used them when I wrote my the brief for the Court of Criminal Appeals. Well, wait a minute. You said right here in the trial record, you guys said this. Well, this is what the state says about what you just said.
All right, we're going to go to our last call for the evening here. 903 area code. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi there. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey,
okay, good.
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Hey, my name is Randy. I want to say something first to you, Chris. Thanks for your time and your help to all of us, and Dad, thank you for hosting the program.
Sure.
When I talked to the IRS agent the other day about ordering forms, Chris, this is just to enforce what you've already told people. They told me the 1099 OIDs that they would be sending me would be for the year of 2019, that they didn't have any of the current years, but just go ahead and use whatever date was on the forms.
Yeah.
So
that's thanks for sharing that.
Sure. Chris, I'm like you. I'm an ex-felon, and I had a Fed case, and unfortunately got a sentence of 22 years, and did what I did all of them, and got out. So I'm an older type guy. I'm clean now off of parole, off of paper, but I still have restitution that they're hitting me for every month out of our Social Security check. Plus, the judge got a default judgment on me for some oil royalties that my mother left when she passed away. I didn't know anything about the order because the court-appointed attorney never sent me anything. I was already locked up then. Didn't send me anything at the time, and so there was a default judgment, and they're taking all those royalties and have been now for 20-something years. Is there anything I can do about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd get everybody involved. Even far back is when it all started. If you got a default judgment, there's a record of it.
Right.
Can they prove that you were served? Yeah. Can they prove that you were served? No, they can't because they didn't get anything signed.
Okay.
How can they put a default judgment on you and you not be notified, and them not have a record of you being notified?
I'm sure they're going to say they served my representative, which was the court-appointed attorney.
Yeah. Well, show me where you served him in writing.
I didn't.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and hit him for ineffective assistance of counsel. If he didn't tell you, then that's ineffective assistance of counsel.
All right.
Which would void the judgment. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You did 22 years of Fed time?
Yeah, you do 85%.
That's correct. That's crazy.
So I did 85% of it. And got a wonderful wife. She stuck with me the whole time. So I got a lot of blessings.
Yeah, you
the
did.
Lord has been good. Okay.
Yeah, man.
How can I stop the restitution that they're taking? Can I would you suggest doing a 1099A?
Yeah, okay. Send them a letter, certified mail. them agreeing that they're accepting the 1099A as payment for the rest. Just like we got done talking with the gal who's we talked about sending her tried to hand deliver a 99A for restitution.
Right.
Do the same thing. Write a letter, certified letter with a 1099A for the total amount.
Okay.
Because when they look, y'all, that's a payment. That's a payment, and when they don't accept it, then you don't owe them.
I got it. All right. The Treasury sends me a letter every month telling me why they deducted 15% out of the Social Security check. But they say don't contact them, the Treasury, but contact the district court where the case was tried. So is that where I would go for the payment, to send the 1099A to them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't do it
All
to the Treasury. You'll do it to the court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another,
stick close by because your bonds are already paid. They've already been paid out. They matured.
Yeah. Yeah, I was disappointed when I heard you say that because I'm finished with everything except them taking money every month. Okay. Another quick question, Chris. When I was a juvenile and back in the 50s, I filled out and sent in for a Social Security number or a card, and I signed my nickname to it instead of my birth name. Now my Social Security account from the Social Security Administration is with my nickname, but every other type of correspondence I receive from the Treasury or anywhere else has my real birth given name on it. Of course, it's all caps, of course. And I'm doing these 1099As. Do I sign with my nickname or my birth name?
No, your nickname is also known as. Your nickname's an AKA. If everything you got is coming in on your real name, then that's the one you want to go with.
Okay, now everything comes in on my real name with the exception of the letters or mail correspondence I get from the Social Security Administration. That comes through my nickname.
Yeah. That shouldn't even be. They should have issued you a new card because you did that when you were a minor.
I brought that up.
If you're 15, if you're 15 years old, absolutely. They should have struck that. They should have struck. As soon as you turn 18, they should have put your real name on the card and struck your nickname off.
All right. When I was at the Social Security Administration office, unfortunately, I didn't know anything about the closing the contract and reopening it and not getting a beneficiary or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
But I asked about changing my name then, and I was told by the agent that I would have to go to court and have a court judge do a name change for me before they could change that.
Yeah. My mom had to do that. My mom's name was Mary Alice Hauser, and then she divorced my dad, and so she went and had to go and get a court order name change. And she changed it to Mary Alice, one name, and then her maiden name Blair was her middle name, and then her mom's maiden name is now her last name. We have to do that.
Well,
it keeps it all right there in the government, man.
Yeah, right. But at this point, you don't think that's necessary?
Well, about signing the name?
Yes, sir.
No, sign your name, but what's the name on the Social Security card?
It's Randy.
That's the one you're going to want to sign it.
All right.
That's the one you're going to use.
Okay. Now, that brings up another question then, because I've turned in 2 1099As at a car dealership, and they've accepted it and sent it off. They mailed it off to the Treasury 3 weeks ago. Then they turned the story on me, the car dealership, and gave me notice that they were going to have to put the cars back on the front lot to resell them. They couldn't keep holding them for something that they were not sure they were going to get paid on. So I went down and got a loan from them to purchase the 2 cars. And they assured me that once they received the funds from the Treasury, that they would send them to the bank to pay off the notes.
Yeah.
But now
and you're wondering when you're gonna know?
Well, no. The question is, since I signed the back of the 1099A with my real given name and not the nickname, is that going to make a difference?
Shouldn't. Should come right back. Because they got both of those names down there. If they got both of those names down there, and it's worked. You've used both those names, and it doesn't matter which one you work. It works out every time, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. On my
then it will.
I'm on disability too, disabled vet, and all the vet correspondence I get is with my real name. Everything I get is with my real name, with the exception of the Social Security Administration.
Yeah. They still recognize it. They recognize both of them. They recognize both those names.
Isn't it really just key for the Social Security number if it's the same?
Is it the what now?
The Social Security number under both names is the same, so the number is what they're going to key on, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one trust fund. One trust fund with 2 names. They'll accept either one.
Okay.
Okay, so does that answer your question?
That is it. I sure appreciate it.
Thank you,
both
sir.
of you for your time.
Thanks for calling, man.
Okay, so that's going to do it for tonight. I am just worn out. Chris, thank you very much for being here and answering all your questions, and all you folks. Thank you for being here. And again, you can help support these calls, one, by joining our free mailing list at youhavetheright.com, and by getting a membership, a monthly membership that will help you to learn this content in a more expedient manner. So until next week, everybody, thank you very much, and good night.